The movie begins with us seeing a street chef named Gaw. He used to cook very delicious dishes. He has a small restaurant, but he keeps it clean and loves his profession. But what happened with Gaw in the past was very bad. His father left him with a chef so that he could learn cooking. Gaw had decided that one day he would become a great chef and achieve everything he couldn't in his childhood. Gaw's father was a very good chef and had become an excellent chef by now, almost like a master chef. But his son, Gaw, hated him because he had spent his childhood without his father. He missed him, but his father didn't care. On the other hand, Gaw's father, the master chef himself, was also pleased that the world didn't know he had a son, but this fact saddened Gaw even more. Now the scene changes, and we see another famous, handsome, and young chef. He used to cook for rich and royal families. His name was Paul. Paul's dream was to build a restaurant in his country for his father. So he leaves abroad and rejects all the offers, returns to his country. There he goes to a fish seller and asks to show him a big fish, but the fish seller refuses. However, when Gaw comes to buy the big fish, the man sells it to him. Seeing this, Paul becomes angry, as if he is jealous that the fish seller gave the fish to him. When the fish seller sees them both angry, he divides the fish into 2 pieces so that they don't fight over it, but they still glare at each other with anger. Now we see Paul's magnificent and lovely restaurant, which is having its grand opening today. It is a very neat, clean, and stylish restaurant, beautifully decorated by Paul. The new restaurant is located right in front of Gaw's restaurant, which worries Gaw's friends because this new restaurant was going to attract all the customers towards it, posing a threat to their business. And their fear comes true as everyone is drawn towards the new restaurant to taste its offerings. Seeing this, Gaw's friends announce discounts to support him, which truly appeals to the customers, and they head back to Gaw's restaurant. This makes Paul's friends furious, and they confront them angrily, questioning why they can't handle seeing their success. Finally, both parties decide to hold a competition to settle the matter, and they agree to participate in the competition to see whose culinary skills reign supreme. Both of them are forced to participate in the competition. Initially reluctant, they eventually recognize that their encounter at the fish stall was the beginning of their rivalry, and they prepare themselves for the competition. A table is set with a large fish placed upon it, which they are tasked to fillet. Paul goes first, skillfully and swiftly filleting the fish, removing its thorns smoothly and quickly, impressing everyone with his technique. He then tosses the fish over to Gaw, who also expertly fillets it. When he shows the fish's skin to everyone, there is no flesh on it, indicating that no fish meat was left behind. This earns him equal admiration from the crowd. A chairman present there suggests that they should participate in an international cooking competition. Both of them had to prove who the best chef was among them, so they both agree to participate. Now, Paul informs the media that he used to cook in France and realized that people still use traditional methods for cooking when he came to China. This statement indirectly indicates to Gaw as well. Upon seeing this, Gaw gets very angry. Now, everyone realizes that first, they will have a competition among themselves, and if they win, they can reach the finals. Along with that, they will also get a chance to meet a very big master chef who turns out to be none other than Gaw's father. Meanwhile, at Gaw's restaurant, Paul's friend arrives and invites Gaw and his friend to come to their restaurant to eat today's food. So, Gaw and his friend go to Paul's restaurant, but the food is served by Paul's friend, not Paul himself. The food looks like a fried egg and a plant pot, but its taste is completely unique. Upon seeing this, Gaw realizes that Paul's cooking is very advanced. He goes straight to the kitchen and angrily confronts Paul, asking him, "Paul, by presenting your food so nicely, what are you trying to prove? That you are a very good cook?" So Paul remains silent and asks him to cook meat to see who can cook it better. Gaw accepts the challenge. Now Gaw cooks the meat very well, and it looks delicious. Then Paul tells him, "Let me show you the same dish with the same recipe." Paul starts cooking and quickly prepares the same dish. When Gaw smells it, he doesn't find any difference between his dish and Paul's. Then he realizes that Paul's cooking technique is very advanced. Feeling sad, he leaves the place. Later, someone tells Gaw that his father is calling him. Gaw goes to his father and asks why he called him when he doesn't even believe that Gaw is his son. His father, the master chef, tells him, "I did it so that the world doesn't say that you are my son just because you reached the international competition through me. I want you to do it on your own." Gaw replies, "Dad, I don't need your support now. When I needed you, you weren't there for me. Anyway, I'll prove that I can achieve what I want without your help." Then Gaw leaves. The next day, the international cooking competition begins. All preparations have been made, and both competitors, Paul and Gaw, are ready. The competition starts. Paul presents a sweet dish, while Gaw presents a chicken dish. Both work hard to prepare their dishes. Paul finishes his dish before time, but soon after, Gaw's magnificent dish is also ready. He completes his task on time as well. The judges and the audience are highly impressed, and now it's time to taste their dishes. Both receive the same points because the judges couldn't find much difference in the taste of their dishes. This creates confusion. Then a judge steps onto the stage to clear the confusion. He says, "No doubt, both dishes were excellent, but I preferred Paul's time management more. Therefore, Paul wins this competition." Paul is overjoyed to hear this. Gaw, on the other hand, feels very sad about losing the competition. He doesn't even go home and instead spends his days playing video games. He keeps spending his time like this for several days. One day, the chef with whom Gaw spent his childhood visits him, the same man Gaw's dad had left him with during his childhood. They try to explain to Gaw that winning or losing is just a part of life. If you couldn't win today, it doesn't mean you don't win tomorrow. But Gaw isn't ready to go home. After much convincing, he is persuaded to go home and prepare for the next competition. Now, Paul, overjoyed, heads to his restaurant, where he enjoys himself. His friends are sitting there, and in the course of conversation, they ask him, "Paul, why don't you give your friend a chance? She's been with you for so long, you should trust her and allow her to represent you internationally. She could elevate the name of your restaurant?" Paul responds, "Yes, she's indeed a good friend of mine, and I haven't denied that. But she doesn't even know how to cook a meal. How can she represent my restaurant internationally?" As they continue to talk, it becomes evident that Paul's friend is influenced by Paul's other friend, and greed seems to be creeping into their heart. Just then, Paul's other friend arrives and places 2 cups of soup in front of him, asking, "Paul, can you tell me which of these has more salt?" Paul falls silent because he doesn't have the ability to taste. His taste buds couldn't differentiate between flavors, which was a natural condition. This revelation deeply saddens Paul because he feels betrayed by his own friend, who colluded with his other friends to deceive him. Then, his friend asks, "What's wrong, Paul? Did you think I loved you? This was your misunderstanding. I befriended you only so that I could use you to go to the international competition. Going there wasn't possible for me, but all this time, what did I get in return for keeping your secret? Couldn't you have offered me something? But not anymore. Now I won't stay silent, because I too can go to this competition. Now here, another big thing is revealed that Paul's friend was conspiring with Paul's friend to cheat Paul, because they were in a relationship and were plotting against Paul to sell his restaurant and start a life with the money they would get. But Paul couldn't let that happen. Paul gets very sad and leaves his restaurant. It's late at night and he sits outside drinking. Then Gaw also sees him and comes over saying, "Paul, why are you sitting here sad, buddy? You've already won. You should be happy." So Paul says to him, "Yeah, I've won, but I've also lost a lot. Anyway, forget about it. Let me tell you something. Do you see that banner over there? In fact, it's a picture of Gaw's father, the same master chef." So Paul gestures towards it and says, "He's my idol. I want to become like him." Then Gaw smiles slightly and says, "Paul, he is my father. You think he's a good person and you want to be like him? Well, let me tell you, my father is very cruel." Gaw begins recounting his past to him. Then Gaw recounts what he did to him. At first, Paul says, "Gaw, you're kidding, man. Come on, stop it." But Gaw tells him, "No, he actually abandoned me in my childhood just because I couldn't adopt his profession. I spent my entire childhood without him." Paul says, "Okay, don't be sad. What can we do now?" Gaw replies, "We can throw bottles," and they both start throwing empty bottles towards that banner, feeling quite happy. At this moment, they bond as friends, and it's a really cute scene. When Paul returns to his restaurant, he sees that his friends are negotiating a deal for his restaurant without his permission. Paul questions them, "What's going on? How can you do this without my consent?" So his friends say to him, "Tell me, who will you take with you to the international competition? Because you can't cook alone in round 2. It's necessary to have a partner. Will you take your friend with you?" Paul replies, "No, my mind isn't messed up. I've decided whom I'll take, someone who truly deserves it." Paul mentions Gaw's name, which makes his friends quite jealous. One of them says to Paul, "Remember, your career will be ruined." Paul then hits him on the head and drives them all away. When they leave, Gaw's guardian chef tells Paul, "Paul, did you really think you would take Gaw with you?" Paul replies, "Yes, why not?" and he pats Gao's shoulder, saying, yes, he's deserving. Everyone is very happy. Now the preparations for the competition begin. They both decide that Paul will teach Gaw his new techniques, while Gaw will teach Paul his traditional methods. Gaw reassures Paul not to worry if your taste buds don't work. I'll help you regain your taste. He keeps explaining to him, do it this way. Paul also keeps teaching him new techniques. They spend a lot of quality time together, practicing cooking, dancing salsa, singing, and chatting. Their friendship deepens even more, and they enjoy each other's company. Then comes the day of the second round of the international competition. They both start preparing their dishes very well and manage to make a delicious sweet dish in a short time. The judges are so impressed that they say they've never tasted such a dish before. They win this round, and it's rightly said that unity is strength. After this, they gear up for the third round, which is a few days later, and this competition is with Gaw's father, the same master chef. Here, Paul tells Gaw, I think you can win this competition, so you should go. Gaw replies to Paul, you're a great chef, you know advanced techniques, and you can do better than me. Paul says, no, it's not like that. Look, I fulfilled my father's dream by opening my own restaurant, so you should fulfill your father's dream. They wanted to see you as a great chef. Go cook in front of him and prove that you can be a great chef. Gaw agrees, thanking Paul. Now, the third and final round has begun, and on the other side, the master chef also starts preparing his dish. Before Gaw begins, he is flooded with memories of his childhood when his father abandoned him, and he endured bullying from other kids. He gets lost in those memories. His father comes and splashes water on his face, telling him to get to work. Gaw then starts making something. On the other side, Gaw's father, the master chef, makes a very lovely sweet dish that looks like it's on fire and a flower blooms from it. The taste of this flower is extraordinary, and the judges love it. When it's Gaw's turn to show his dish, he makes noodles and goes straight to his father with a bowl of noodles. And he presents it to them. The master chef tastes them and finds them delicious. These are the same noodles that Gaw's father scolded him for not being able to make. Gaw had prepared the noodles so deliciously that his father couldn't resist eating them and praised him, saying, well done, son, you've made excellent noodles. They both became quite emotional at that moment, and the audience could sense the connection between them, not just because of their shared surname, but also because of their behavior, which resembled that of a father and son. Gaw's dream had finally come true, and his father's pride was evident. Now, at the restaurant, we see Paul and Gaw working together. Their audience has grown significantly, with more customers enjoying their food than ever before. Their restaurant is bustling with activity and joy. With this, the movie comes to a close.